How do you think paganism vanished from the entire Europe?
Why are all the terrorists Muslims?
I asked him upfront, what do you feel wrong with Islam?
All religions teach the same. All religions lead to the same destination. But is it so? You will be surprised to learn. But these platitudes are recent inventions, not even 100 years old. That too endlessly repeated by non-Muslims and non-Christians. A Christian doesn't believe all religions are same. A Muslim considers his religion the most superior and his way of life the ultimate truth. But why dharmic religions, especially Hinduism, are ailing from this delusion? Why only Hindus, specifically the seculars, in a delirium?
हम ये पढ़ पढ़ के बड़े हुए कि जैसे हमारी भगवत गीता है वैसे क्रिश्चियंस की बाइबल है और वैसे मुस्लिम्स की कुरान है.
It's the biggest lie we were brought up with.
हाँ,
All religions are same.
all religions are same. मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में प्यार करना.
The answer lies in the history, especially the 19th century, when people like Gandhi and his doppelgangers started propagating this myth. Their words were not taken seriously by the Muslims or Christians. They probably even laughed at them in the privacy of their homes, but not in public, for it suited them that Hindus remained in the dark. Why? Because they were still low in numbers. It was all about demographics. History is never going to be kind to Gandhi or his doppelgangers or his modern day avatars.
If Gandhi had wanted, he could have saved Bhagat Singh and Veer Savarkar. Gandhi also said that he would not allow Pakistan to be created. That's why the Hindus and Sikhs who lived in Muslim majority areas didn't plan anything because they had faith in Gandhi.
If India becomes an Islamic country, Muslim will throw Gandhi off the pedestal and forget about him, as the Muslims of Pakistan and Bangladesh have. And if India becomes a Hindu Pakistan, as a narcissistic show-off Shashi Tharoor once put it, then also Gandhi and his so-called followers will be at the wrong side of the history. Perhaps no person has harmed Bharat and Sanatan Dharma as much as Gandhi.
This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. Hindus should not harbor anger in their hearts against Muslims even if the latter wanted to destroy them.
He softened the bones of Hindus, made them delusional and intellectually bankrupt.
गांधी जी के लिए आपने कहा कि उन्होंने शांति से आजादी दिला दी. ये बताओ कि जब पाकिस्तान और हिंदुस्तान का बंटवारा हुआ और जब लाशें ट्रेनों पर पाकिस्तान से हिंदुस्तान आई, उन लाशों का जिम्मेदार कौन था? नाम बताओ. गांधी. हाँ, थे ना गांधी जी?
Anyone even decently read will accept that all religions are not the same. They are all in stark contrast of each other.
Presenting all religions as if they're basically the same thing, which they're not. Do we actually know the beliefs of Hinduism and what their beliefs actually are? For example, if you look at the Hindu tradition, a lot of the Hindu tradition involves idol worship, obviously, but even demonic worship is a part of Hindu religion.
The ethics, metaphysics, philosophy, etc. are all different, often opposing. Yet Gandhi propagated the myth that all religions are essentially the same. Why? There can be only three reasons. Either Gandhi hadn't read much at all, or his IQ was in 2 digits, or in the worst case, he was simply an extremely dishonest and corrupt man, serving his white Western masters of stretching the freedom struggle as much as he could, giving ample time to the Britishers to loot as much as they can.
Mr. Gandhi बहुत ही कम्प्लेक्स पर्सनालिटी है. He was born into prosperity. Essentially उन्होंने 25 वर्ष साउथ अफ्रीका में डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया कि I am worthy and capable of serving the British Empire. मैं unfortunately ये कह रहा हूँ कि he was a British agent. ये बहुत controversial है.
Before ruling India becomes completely unviable, it wasn't just Gandhi. Some spiritual gurus were politically correct too and repeated the same BS. Vivekananda was one of them in his early formative years. It was only later when Vivekananda realized he was wrong. But before he could speak or write extensively on the subject, he left the earth and transitioned to a different body. ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम.
झूठा मक्कारी का गीत जो एक ब्राह्मण ने लिखा था, उस ब्राह्मण के लिखे हुए उस गीत को कुछ चाटुकारों ने अपने स्वार्थों के लिए उसे भी बदल दिया. लक्ष्मी नारायण जी ने वो भजन लिखा था, लेकिन कुछ चाटुकारों ने उसकी लाइनें अपने स्वार्थ के लिए बदल दी और कहा ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सम्मति दे भगवान.
Seriously? How big fool a person could be or corrupt if not a fool? You decide. In one of the previous videos, I already explained how some words can't be translated ever to another language. because they have a history attached to them. Such words represent an idea and are always used in a context. It's all about etymology. I will repeat the example I told you in my earlier video. Take for example the word God. God word has Western Abrahamic roots. By the word God, we mean the divine creator who created this universe, is separate from it, watches and looks after it, passes judgment, is morally good, and punishes or rewards people based on their deeds. Do you get it now? Ishwar is not God. Ishwar is nothing like God. Ishwar is present everywhere, yet it is nowhere. It is everything, yet nothing. It is above human morality. It is not separate from the universe. It is the universe itself. The list of differences goes on and on. Point is, Ishwar is not the same as God. Similarly, God is not the same as Allah, and Allah is not the same as Paramatma or Bhagwan. Once someone understands this basic truth, only then one can proceed further if one wishes to dive deeper into the world of theology and philosophy. No, Ishwar and Allah are not the names of the same entity. Stop reiterating the falsehood which the likes of Gandhi started. Gandhi lived 100 years ago with no one-click access to hundreds of zettabytes of data. We live in the era of internet. Free libraries and books are available 24/7. Dear seculars, I don't know why you are the way you are. If you are corrupt, I can't do anything. If you are simply ignorant, the least you can do is read books, especially the religious texts of all religions, and do a comparative analysis. If you are too lazy for that too, then watch this video till the end, because we will be busting this myth that all religions are the same, and we will do so by comparing two major religions of India, Hinduism and Islam. Why, you may ask? Well, because it is pertinent. We are in the midst of the intellectual war of narratives and fighting the ideology of the cult against which people like Gandhi made us completely feeble and infirm. Namaskar. This is author Abhidev and you are watching the TAVenture show. It is very easy to label someone when you don't have the logical facts to counter them. I will be labeled as Gobar Bhakt or simply a Bhakt, Sanghi, bigot, racist, etc. too by these leftist liberal morons. But you see, you can't solve the problems India is facing today without identifying their roots. No matter how many branches you cut off of that weed, it will grow and flourish again. Take for example the Kashmir issue.
Actually, we have done, I think, a good job solving most of it. I think removing Article 370 was step number one. I think the part we are waiting for is the return of the stolen part of Kashmir, which is under illegal Pakistani occupation. When that's done, I assure you, Kashmir solved.
The government has been identifying and targeting the fundamentalists for God knows how long. But is the problem solved? No.
क्योंकि उनका गेम प्लान हमेशा ये होता है। देखिए, अगर आप कश्मीर इशू को रिजॉल्व कर दोगे तो पाकिस्तान का आइडेंटिटी का क्या होगा? करेक्ट।
Why? Because the government is not finding the cure for the fundamentals themselves. It has never been a territorial conflict. Kashmir issue will remain an issue simply because the fundamentals that the people of Kashmir subscribe to is not compatible and in fact in stark opposition to the fundamentals that the majority of people follow in the mainland.
इस मसले को हल करने की नीयत किसी की थी ही नहीं, क्योंकि कश्मीर अनरिजॉल्व्ड हो तो सियासत जिंदा रहती है। क्यों? क्योंकि कश्मीर का मसला जोग्राफिया नहीं ज़मीर का है, और अफसोस के ज़मीर बेचने वाले हमेशा इक़्तिदार में रहते हैं।
Let me reiterate. The problem is not with the fundamentalist. The problem is with the fundamentals themselves. The madder a Jain or Buddhist becomes, the less we have to worry about that person. But the madder the Muslims get, the more we need to worry and fear. I mean, a hell lot. This is why it is necessary for me to prove that all religions are fundamentally different by pointing out the 6 major differences between Islam and Hinduism. Leave Christianity aside for a while, for it is not a bigger problem as of now, simply because of the demographics. Yes, it all boils down to sheer numbers. So without wasting any time, let's begin with the differences one by one. Number 1. concept of God. Bear with me for using the word God, but as of now, there is no other way to communicate in English. Anyway, this one will take a bit long. Like God of the Christians, Allah is the creator of this universe, is separate from His creation, is morally divine, watches and looks after His creation, and rewards and punishes according to the deeds. So Allah is omnipotent and omniscient, but He is not omnipresent. In comparison to that, the God of Hindus, Ishwar, Paramatma, or the ultimate reality, Brahman, is this universe Himself, is consciousness and observing through His creation, i.e. us, the living beings, and is neither morally good or bad in human terms, but instead neutral. So, the God of Hindus is not only omnipotent and omniscient, but omnipresent too.
I need to first see God and then I'll begin my sadhana. You will have to begin without seeing.
Because of this arise serious differences between the worldview of Hindus and Muslims, as it implies that for Muslims, God isn't creation itself, which leads to a difference in attitude in how Hindus and Muslims regard people, animal, plants and things around themselves. Ask a devout Muslim if Allah is present in dirty, gross things like human urine and human poop, and he will get angry at the question itself, for he can't conceive that Allah can be responsible for creating such bad stuff, nor can these things be one of the extensions of His existence, because these are bad, dirty, gross things, right? Same would be the reaction of many Hindus too, especially those who are Hindus simply because they were born in a Hindu family. But for a true learned and aware Hindu, God is existence itself, and anything that exists, be it gross or divine in human terms, is the extension of God, existence itself. Sure, human excreta and waste products are toxic, smelly, bad, harmful and gross for us, but not for the worms, for which it is the food. Also, it is not bad for the microbes or the insects like the dung beetle and housefly, for it means the world to them. Spread urine around a plant and see how fast it grows. Spread human or animal excreta on an agricultural land and see how good the crops grow because of that organic manure. Do you get it? Just because something is harmful, bad and gross for us doesn't mean it is bad for other living beings too. In fact, at times it is good for the other living beings as their lives depend on it. It is all connected. For universe, nothing is gross or divine. It is just neutral. Do you get this fundamental difference between Hinduism and Islam? For Hindus, anything that exists is an extension of that existence itself, and therefore God itself. This stark difference in the worldview translates into day-to-day living and behavior. Since Allah is separate from His creation, there is in general a disgust, or at the very least, apathy for other things that exist apart from the Muslims themselves.
आप यहाँ कह रहे हैं कि आप जो करने जा रहे हो वो अल्लाह को ऑलरेडी पता है, उन्होंने लिख के रखा है। तो मुझे ये समझ में आ रहा है कि हम आखिरत तक क्या करने वाले हैं, यानी सब लोग जो है क्या करने वाले हैं, ये अल्लाह को पता है। अब यहाँ बात ये आ रही है कि सर अगर वर्ल्ड कप क्रिकेट का रिजल्ट मुझे अगर फाइनल रिजल्ट मालूम है तो पूरा वर्ल्ड कप मुझे देखने की जरूरत क्या है?
And if that thing is aesthetically bad, say for example cockroach, the apathy turns into antipathy. Cow is revered by Hindus in general, so hurting a cow might give extremists a twisted sense of pleasure. Stray pigs eat waste and a dirty abomination, probably created by the Satan. Certainly Allah can't create such a dirty and pathetic creature. Spiders are good though, as they saved the Prophet from the wrath of the evil non-believers who were trying to kill him by creating a web, thus deceiving them. Anyway, why go to the animals? Let go to the non-Muslims themselves. We, the Hindus, the Mushrikun, the worst of all the Kafirs, responsible for the worst shirk possible, i.e. rejecting the Tawhid, are obligatory to kill. You see, so bad are we, and since Allah can't be inside bad people like us, that even jizya is not applicable to us. Jizya is applicable only on the people of the book, i.e. Jews and Christians.
भारत में सबसे पहले जजिया टैक्स हटाया कश्मीर के एक शासक जैनुल आबेदिन। अगर बात करें अकबर की, तो इसने जजिया टैक्स हटाया था 1564 में, लेकिन औरंगजेब ने जजिया 1679 में फिर से लगा दिया। फाइनली भारत से जजिया टैक्स हटाने का काम मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला ने किया।
It was only in India they had to put jizya, as it was too much of an effort to convert the stubborn kafirs like us, and would have taken a long time. The Muslim rulers were like, why not earn money in the meantime while Ghazwa-e-Hind is still far away?
कहा जाता है कि इस्लामिक स्टेट में जो भी आपकी नॉन मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन होती थी वो अपने मुस्लिम रूलर्स को एक टैक्स पे करती थी जिसे जजिया कहा जाता था। जजिया टैक्स देने वाले ही पॉपुलेशन को जिम्मी कहते थे।
So what if Jews and Christians are kafir too? So what if they are descendants of Isaac? At least Isaac was the son of Abraham, just like Ismail, from whom all the Muslims initially descended.
The descendants of Ishmael. The descendants of Ishmael are an important part of biblical history. In Genesis chapter 16, we learn that Ishmael was the son of Abraham and Hagar. Ishmael's descendants are mentioned in Genesis 25, 12, 18, where it lists the 12 sons of Ishmael and their names. These sons went on to become the heads of various Arab tribes.
Do you get it? When you believe that Allah is separate from His creation and not present everywhere, especially in bad and dirty things, stupid animals, and evil kafirs like us, it has manifold implications on the psychology, worldview, attitude, and behavior of the Muslims towards the aforementioned. As again this, a Hindu, even if not well read or knowledgeable, subconsciously believes in the presence of divine in other forms of existence too.
In Hinduism, we have many gods representing each and every important element in nature, such as the god of fire, the sun as a god, water as a god, rivers as gods, as well as gods for education, knowledge and wealth. This signifies that humans cannot live without the million powerful elements surrounding them, which propel them forward every day.
Including people of different faith. Allah lacks only omnipresence, but its implications enormous, grave and numerous. In fact, Schopenhauer wrote about the Holy Quran that he hadn't seen in any book such a remarkable contempt for death. Number 2, life after death. Like atheism, Islam also believes that we get only one life, only one chance. So far good. The issue arises when it doesn't all end after death, unlike atheism. Instead, there is an afterlife. How that afterlife would be is decided on the basis of how true a Muslim was to his duties and obligations as per the instructions and commandments of Islam. What are the implications, you ask? Life becomes a test, a single chance to prove one's worth to Allah, who will resurrect all the Muslims on the judgment day, Qayamat, and assign a place in hell or heaven.
कयामत का दिन एक ऐसा दिन होगा जो पूरी दुनिया को हिला कर रख देगा। जब अल्लाह ताला हजरत इसराफील अलैहिस्सलाम को सूर फूंकने का हुक्म देंगे तो एक ऐसी जोरदार आवाज गूंजेगी जो हर इंसान, हर जानवर और हर मखलूक को हिला कर रख देगी। लोग घबरा कर इधर उधर भागेंगे, लेकिन कोई जगह नहीं बचेगी जहां वो छुप सके।
This is where the biggest issue for Muslim arises, whether to live according to the times and delay the good deeds as categorized by the Holy Quran and Hadiths, or to act immediately and prove one's worth to the Supreme once and for all. So you see, what happens is, in desperation, some Muslims take the extreme step and embrace martyrdom for the sake of Islam, the Prophet and Allah.
If a person is fighting because he is defending Islam and the Muslims and the cause of justice, he is considered a shaheed if he is killed. So now comes the reason why Allah allows all of this to happen, for those people to have eternal bliss of the highest degrees of paradise. Because trust me, ultimately we all have to die.
No wonder why almost all terrorists have one thing in common, their religion. Now sects can be different. In fact, two sects might be fighting with each other. This is because out of the 72 sects, firqe, only the adherents of one are worthy of going to heaven. Rest 71 are all doomed, just like the infidels, apostates and heretics who would go to hell too. And what do you do to people if you believe with absolute conviction that they are evil and going to hell? You make their lives on earth hell too. Don't fool yourself. For an Islamist, First, the struggle is against the Kafirs. And when the Kafirs are finished, then starts the struggle against the bad and fake Muslims. This process goes on and on and on. Wherever Islam spreads, ad infinitum. There is another implication of this one life syndrome, which is the logical conclusion from the concept of Judgment Day. Since people will be resurrected on the fateful day, it means the body should be preserved. Well, if not in entirety, then at least to some extent, i.e. bones, hair, etc. Which means practicing Muslims will never opt for cremation, unlike the practicing Christians of today, who have changed with time. Muslims are afraid of their bodies turning to ashes, as it means reconstruction of their bodies is almost impossible, even by magic, which is why some countries are now planning to deter Islamic terrorism by cremating the remains of the terrorist. Believe me, if India also starts cremating terrorists, as terrorists have no religion, right? Terror attacks in India will drop significantly. Now there are some fanatic Muslims who do intense mental gymnastics and reach to a conclusion that even if their bodies are ripped apart into small pieces of meat during a suicide bombing mission, their martyrdom will be so great that they will be immediately resurrected the moment they press the trigger of the bomb and will be sent to heaven, i.e. Jannah, and won't have to wait till the judgment day. The entry to the heaven will be immediate, that too to the highest one. Yeah, there are levels of heaven too, according to the hadiths and scholars.
Did you know Jannah has 7 levels, each more beautiful than the last? The higher the level, the greater the reward.
3-star heaven, 4-star heaven, the grand suite, etc. Almost akin to a luxury tourist resort. Fear and greed are indeed the two most basic emotions driving a human being, completely applicable on devout practicing Muslims and Islamic radicals who lose the fight and give in to the desperation to clear the test Allah has subjected them to with flying colors. The complete opposite of it is the Hindu outlook towards what happens after death. Hinduism basically believes that after death, there is a sort of deep sleep for a while until you transition to the body suited for your next role in the next life on earth or perhaps on another planet based on your karma.
According to the Hindu religion, the human soul is immortal and never dies. After the death of a human, the soul is reborn in a different body through reincarnation. Karma determines the fate of the soul.
As a result, for people of Dharma, there is no rush or hurry to prove themselves. Also because there is nothing to prove to anyone. One will be born again and again until all the karmic debts are paid. Brahman is realized, and only then one will achieve Satchidananda, pure untainted bliss of not having an ego, fear, desire, ignorance at all, i.e. moksha, mukti or nirvana. Now there are subtle differences, but that's not the point. The point is that dharmic religions don't have one life syndrome. Neither their adherents subjected to any test, nor is there truly a concept of heaven and hell, i.e. Swarga and Narka. Both are not places or final destination, but experiences. And in the later Puranic stories, the two are lokas. One can consider them as different realms. But even as per the Puranas, written for the simple lay people, there is no escaping from the law of reincarnation until and unless one realizes the ultimate, i.e. Brahman.
Reincarnation, does it exist? Yes, it does. We are made up of 3 bodies. Physical body, astral body and causal body. When we will die, we will leave the physical body behind, but all that information are carried in that astral and causal body. Mother Nature will push you depending upon your deeds and action.
The equation is simple. Atman is equal to Brahman, which is communicated through famous lines. Tat Tvam Asi.
Which means I am in the universe and the universe is in me.
And Aham Brahma Asmi.
इसको महावाक्य बोलते हैं उपनिषद में. अहम ब्रह्मस्मि. I am that supreme reality.
Once again, you see a stark contrast between Islam and Hinduism, i.e. Sanatan Dharma. Number 3. Islam is the last iteration of the desert cults. As a result, it draws its inspiration from both Judaism and Christianity. The metaphysics are almost the same. The early followers lived in paucity and absence of natural resources. So the imagination about heaven, i.e. Jannat, is that of a utopia. There is greenery everywhere, gardens, which wasn't there in Arabia in actuality. There are rivers of honey and wine, when in actuality, there was scarcity of fresh water too. Don't even talk about 72 virgins. The crux is that both Islam and Christianity are materialistic religions, for they imagine for themselves the afterlife in the material form after the death, albeit exaggeratedly pure, eternal and limitless. As against this, dharmic religions were born in the regions which had plenitude of everything, i.e. all material resources, be it vegetation, water or essential minerals and metals. As a result, at their core, dharmic religions are spiritual and non-material. In the truest sense, this spirituality is absent from Islam. There have been exceptions like Rumi, etc. But the thing to note is, they were the heretics of their times. Christianity has evolved a bit. Yet one has to move away from the core commandments and teachings to pursue spirituality. Modern day staunch Christians have come up with dumb concepts like spiritual attack and spiritual warfare to sound deeper and more sagacious. But when you really hear them, you will find it's nothing but misuse of the word spiritual, and their words are extremely shallow and superficial. Some far-right Christians even go to the extent of treating spiritual pursuit and spiritual journey, i.e. mysticism, akin to serving the devil.
It is that annoyance when all things are going well and then out of nowhere a storm rises up in your life. When out of nowhere hell breaks out from every side in your life.
I.e. Satan. Number 4. Consumption of the forbidden fruit. Though Islam too believes in original sin, it doesn't put much emphasis on it. It's just that every Muslim has to prove her worth to the Almighty Allah. In case of Christians, it is a good news, i.e. one can be saved from sin if one accepts Jesus Christ as one's savior. Keeping this aside, both are strictly against tasting the forbidden fruit, i.e. Gnosticism.
Core differences between Gnostic and Christian teachings. Nature of divinity. Traditional Christianity upholds the belief in a singular, omnipotent God who is both the creator and sustainer of the universe. The Gnostic view, however, introduces a complex hierarchy of divine beings.
Is heretical. No question should be asked. There should never be any doubt even. Doubting means the end of allegiance, end of declaration of faith to Allah and the Prophet. Don't think, just submit. No question asked whatsoever. This is the way to become a good Muslim. Christianity has evolved a bit, as it doesn't believe that the words in Bible are literal, infallible words of God. Islam is different in the sense that it really wants its adherents to believe that Quran is the literal word of God, uncreated, unchanged, and its exact copy is kept in the seventh sky besides Allah. This makes modernization of Islam impossible. We will discuss this later at some other time, but for now, just know, either you are in the system or you are out. There is nothing in between. So the word moderate is misleading or deception, i.e. al-Taqiyyah.
दोस्तों, इसका अर्थ यही होता है कि गैर मुस्लिमों के साथ, काफिरों के साथ धोखे से रखो उन्हें, दोस्ती करो, खाओ पियो.
A behavior and strategy prescribed in the Holy Quran and Hadiths, wherever the non-believers are more in number as compared to the Mu'mins, i.e. the believers, Muslims. No wonder why we have closet jihadis like Javed Akhtar in the garb of intellectuals who self-proclaim themselves as rationalists or atheists. It's nothing but deception, al-Taqiyyah. All boils down to demographics, ultimately. The numbers, yes, demographics is destiny.
जिहादियों में इनमें अल-तकिया नाम की चीज होती है. ये वहां पर समर्थन देते हैं जहां पर इन्हें कुछ फायदा हो, और जहां इनका मकसद पूरा हो जाता है फिर ये अपना असली रूप दिखाते हैं.
If you are unaware, be clear about one thing. A true practicing Muslim can't doubt his religion and his religious texts. for it means hell. This is why madrasas and mosques in India are issuing sermons not to listen to ex-Muslims and the debates channel. As being the agents of Satan, they are there to mislead, so people lose their faith and the devil becomes even stronger. As against this, in the Eastern Dharmic religions, it is necessary to doubt, consume the fruit of knowledge for true upliftment. So, I can be a Hiranyakashipu just before his death, or a Trishanku, as far as my philosophical leanings are concerned. Not sure about which philosophical school of Hinduism I belong to, yet I will not be a heretic. I still will remain a Hindu. Doubting is the first step on the spiritual journey. It is the first and foremost requirement for enlightenment in the Eastern traditions. Completely antithetical to religions like Islam. Number 5. Origins and religious books. While Muslims say Islam is the default religion, existing since the creation of earth and Adam, or some attribute it to Abraham, they accept, however, that people came to know about it in its entirety and purest form in 610 AD, when the first verse of the Quran was revealed to the Prophet in Mecca. To the others, it is the birth of Islam, but to a devout Muslim, doing mental gymnastics is just the revelation. Like I told you before, devout and practicing Muslims believe that the verses of Quran are literal words of Allah, hence infallible, unchangeable, uncreated and perfect. But there is one issue with Quran. You see, the verses and chapters are supposedly in the chronological order of revelation, but not in the chronological order of events happening though. Consider the example of hypothetical organic chemistry book. Imagine if the phenyl group and benzyl group are discussed on the first pages and the methyl, ethyl and alcohol, i.e. hydroxyl group, are discussed in the later chapters. Would someone be able to understand it? Yes, one can mug up and speak what is written in the book with perfect clarity. But will it be easy to understand? Now suppose I write another book which explains everything in detail with context and in the order of advancement, beginning with the chemistry of carbon, hydrogen, methane, methyl groups and so on. It now becomes easy to understand the first book, right? The same is the case with Quran. It is a very tedious and tiring book to read and understand, especially without context. Here comes Sunnah, i.e. Hadith, in the picture. Basically, Hadiths provide the context to understand the verses of Quran, explain them, and contain the life history, sayings, and teachings of Prophet Muhammad. I will give you 3 examples of the authentic and the strongest Hadith. Shahi al-Bukhari, written by al-Bukhari in 870 AD, away from Mecca and Medina, at Bukhara, Uzbekistan, 238 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Shahi Muslim, written by Muslim ibn al-Hajjaj in 875 AD, away from Mecca and Medina, in Nishapur, Iran, 243 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Sunan Abi Dawood, written by Abu Dawood in 889 AD, away from Mecca and Medina, in Basra, Iraq, 256 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad. I think you get it. I don't need to take the names of other hadith and tell you about the places where they were written, by whom and when. So it is the hadith that helps people understand Islam easily, especially through anecdotes and incidents which Muslims consider as part of history. However, the issue is, not only these hadiths were written a couple of centuries later after the death of Prophet Muhammad, they were compiled and produced too far away from the source, i.e. the place where Islam originated, or in the words of Muslim, revealed. This causes problems, as the gap in years is too much, which is why progressives like MBS of Saudi Arabia want to do away with hadiths altogether. But is it actually possible?
In a shocking 2022 interview with The Atlantic, Mohammed bin Salman said the misuse of weak and unproven hadiths has been a major source of division among Muslims. He pointed out that many hadiths are not aligned with the Quran and have been traditionally used to justify certain practices.
How will Muslims and non-Muslims understand Islam and the context of Quranic verses without hadiths. That said, the crux is Muslims follow one book, the Holy Quran, aided by supplementary books like hadiths and tafsir by Ibn Kathir. The difference in the prioritization of different religious texts of Islam gives rise to different firqas, i.e. sects. For example, in Hanafi Sunni Islam, there are Deobandis, Barelvis, etc. And in Shia, there are Imamiyah, Ismaili, etc. Then there are Ahle Hadith, Ahmadiyas, Sufis, Ibadis, etc. In total, there are believed to be total of 72 sects, firqas. But the followers of only one sect will go to heaven. Rest 71 will go to hell. And the thing is, every sect believes it is a worthy one. So you see, the notion that Islam doesn't have caste and doesn't discriminate is completely a false narrative. There are way too many fault lines within Islam. It's just that non-Muslims haven't exploited these fault lines to their benefit yet. But no matter which sect you are from, the book that is common to all is the Holy Quran. As against this, there is no founding father of Hinduism, no single God, no single messenger, no single prophet, and no single holy book. Either this is because it's as old as one can imagine, or because people like Ved Vyasa made it so syncretic, accommodating, and tolerant by writing the 18 Puranas, where gods of all different sects of Hindus are shown to be friends with each other, related to each other, interacting with each other, etc. So now, Sanatan Dharma is like that in the same Hindu house, the father might be a Krishna devotee, the mother a Shiva Bhakt, the daughter might be worshipping Durga, the son might be an atheist, the grandfather might be into Advaita Vedanta, considering only the Vedas and the Upanishads as the worthy texts, and the grandmother might have put Hanuman on the pedestal. Yet there is no conflict or fight amongst all of them. They all accept each other's preferences. Do you see what is happening here? No matter which school of thought you belong to, no matter which god you worship, there is this subconscious realization among the Hindus that they worship not the nouns but the adjectives, i.e. the different qualities and manifestations of the same reality. So no Hindu is doomed. Flow in whichever direction you want. Begin from whatever source, as long as you reach the same destination, i.e. the ocean. This too is one of the biggest difference between Islam and Hinduism. This too results in completely different philosophical, ethical, metaphysical and political worldviews amongst the Muslims and Hindus. So, Allah Ishwar Tero Naam is one of the biggest BS idea people like Gandhi came up with. No, Islam and Hinduism are not the same. In fact, they sit at two extreme ends of the spectrum. Number 6. Both Islam and Christianity are missionary faiths. They will knock at your door and ask you to leave your false religion and accept theirs. The only difference between Christians and the Muslim is, while Christians may irritate you, they will go away if you say no to them. But if you say no, especially if you are a minority in the Muslim-dominated region, the Muslim fanatics will burn down your house, torture you until you yield, and if you don't, they will probably lynch, behead or rape you. Christianity was like that too, about 600-700 years ago. How do you think paganism vanished from the entire Europe? In short, both the religions want to spread the message of their gods and prophets to the non-believers, for it's obligatory in order to be a good Christian or a good Muslim. As against this, Hinduism is not missionary in nature. In fact, there isn't even a ritual or a way to convert to Hinduism.
In the land where Hinduism reigns here, they've never gone to another country, invaded it, and asked them to convert. Where Hinduism, you cannot actually convert into it. Right. You're actually born into it, or you can practice it. Right. And it doesn't matter.
The recent Ghar Wapsi programs and Shuddhikaran are knee-jerk reactions to the rapidly changing demography, which may spell doom for Bharat and Hindus worldwide. Conversion to Hinduism can't happen by something like baptization or, in case of Islam, Shahada, which is the declaration of faith after reading Kalma. Conversion to Hinduism is a mental and behavioral thing. The moment you begin to view this world like a Sanatani, that very same moment you become a Hindu. Paperwork for official document is just a formality. Well, I told you about the 6 major differences. There are many others too, like the list of prohibited things, deeds, food and other consumables, and the list of mandatory things, deeds, etc. Hinduism has no commandments prohibiting Hindus from doing something or something like the 5 pillars of Islam. It has become so accommodating, grand, almost like an open architecture, as Rajiv Malhotra puts it, that no school of thought dominates.
Whatever it may have been called earlier. So Hindu Dharma is sort of the modern name for a very ancient set of practices, symbols, theories, philosophies, different traditions. Now, the characteristics of this are very unique. It's an open architecture. I call it an open architecture. In fact, the book Indra's Net describes that.
You know what? Apologists will accuse me of ignorance and misinterpretation, as I don't know Arabic. Yes, this is the standard response. Standard knee-jerk reaction when they can't think of or can't come up with anything else. You are reading it wrong. The way I understand is different. Well, good for you. But I can talk about this topic for hours and hours and don't need to know Arabic. No, it is not a matter of subjectivity of the translator, for we are looking for the essence, not exact replication. Almost every book, be it of physics, chemistry, engineering or literature, etc., has been translated in the English language. Quran too is a book, even if it is by God. In fact, since it is by Allah, it should be easier to understand and translate so that the message of the one true God spreads everywhere easily and Qiyamah, i.e. the day of judgment, arrives soon. Consider mathematics. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 is easily translated into all the languages. Doesn't it mean it is a better message by the universe to us? Message to Muslims watching this video, accusing me of misinterpretation.
Dear Moments, you are right. True, while translating, some of the essence is lost. But it's not that 100% of these translations are wrong. If you say 5% or 10% wrong, I'll believe you all right away. But if you, like me, don't understand Arabic, can only read the script to pronounce the Arabic words, have simply mugged up the verses like a parrot, depend on tafsirs, then learn Arabic in depth, and write a new tafsir yourself before you accuse me of ignorance. You have to do it, to make me understand and accept your defensive responses. You know more about Islam than the scholars themselves, right? Then it shouldn't be much of a big problem. So, please go ahead, write a new tafsir, and then come to me to prove me wrong once and for all. Till then, tolerate this video.
So, the conclusion? All religions are not the same, nor do they teach and preach the same thing. In fact, all the religious struggles and political struggles emanate because of these very grave differences between different religions and sects. Let all of us be aware, honest, and grow some spine and declare it once and for all. All religions are different. I repeat, all religions are different. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Thank you for watching. Do contribute, like, share and subscribe. This video should reach everyone, especially the leftist liberal morons and those who have been ignorant or politically correct so far. Thanks again. Goodbye.